Travelling in luxury and style is made difficult if you're on a budget. Who cares? Coaches are accessible, practical and cheap. They're a great way to see the country and to meet new people, which if your personal circumstances have changed recently may provide you with a perfect opportunity to meet that special person. Kismet.
Oh yes. We're artists.
First time up here?
Yeah, first time.
What do you think so far?
Cold.
Cold?
We're used to the cold, but not in May.
And you have any problems altitude-wise?
I did when I first got here. We flew into La Paz and I got sick about 4 days in, but I've been fine since then.
We're at 3,000 meters now, and we begin the ascent into the Andes. The air is remarkable, pure, clear. It's heady stuff. Makes you feel good to be alive. It's perfect. It's a beautiful day, and I'm looking forward to the rest. So let's get to it.
Me too, let's go.
But these are very sharp. Very sharp.
I just got some in my ankle. We're out here just at sunset, and the sun's looking quite spectacular as it sets down over the square, sets behind the mountains. Coca tea. Now this helps with altitude sickness, and as well as altitude sickness, it helps with all sorts of things. It makes you feel pretty good too.
They call them invaders, people who have come in after the agrarian revolution of 1969, 1970. Anyway, they all flocked to the towns and the cities to seek a better life, because the agrarian revolution obviously wasn't working very well. Anyway, and there was a little fallout from the Sendero Luminoso as well, the Shining Path, who ironically persecuted the very people they were trying to protect.
More importantly, what do you want to do tonight?
Tonight I thought we might go and try out one of the highly recommended bars in town and live a little and experience Peru.
Well, it's not looking good for John, who was guilty of double dipping at the bar last night. All those fingers in the corn snacks.
So how'd you feel this morning, John? Good?
Not bad.
100%?
Maybe 82. How about you?
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I feel some ominous rumblings now. This is one of the first founded colonial cities in the 1860s, but then it's been destroyed by earthquakes.
They call it the White City because when the Spanish came, they were the White Spanish, right?
And still to this day, they feel a little superior.
Where are we going now? To a nunnery.
This is a convent. Nuns weren't allowed to talk for 4 years. They weren't allowed to touch anyone. All my life I've been waiting to get into a convent.
Women who are working on the restoration, they decided to use these 3 colors. These colors remember us when the Spaniards were in Arequipa. If you visit now some colonial houses, they are still painted in orange, blue and red.
Notice you're taking a little Gatorade there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm having slight shortness of breath on it. When I'm doing something, a little exertion, going up some stairs, then...
Is that down to your general level of poor fitness?
Well, that could be. But I think it might be to do with that it's slightly at an elevated altitude, which means that the air is slightly thinner, so I'm not quite getting enough oxygen to my lungs. So how are you coping with the altitude? Notice anything different at the moment?
What I notice now is how clear the air is, how pure the air is.
But didn't you mention something about a shortness of breath earlier?
No. Well, after 4 hours through the most spectacular Andean countryside, rising to an elevation of 5,000 meters, we're now in a place called Chiva, where we'll stay for a couple of nights.
Tomorrow it's off to the Colca Canyon, and as we get a little more acclimatized, we'll be moving on up to Lake Titicaca. But this is kind of nice. I mean, just the whole expanse of the mountains and the vista is just huge. It's hard to explain, hard to imagine.
This is the Huertiti dance, which signifies the true meaning of love and the joy of courtship, as well as the complementary nature of the masculine and the feminine.
We are sitting waiting for condors. A few thousand other people waiting for condors as well, and hopefully they'll be along really soon. Biggest birds in the world, I think, or the heaviest. They live to up to 50 years old, which is quite amazing. So we'll patiently sit here and wait.
The condor is a scavenger, trolling the thermal air currents on the lookout for carrion. It's a vulture, not normally associated with grace and beauty. However, the condor in flight is simply majestic.
We've just had the extreme pleasure of watching those condors soar up on the thermal currents here in the Colca Canyon, which incidentally is 3,200 meters deep. That's 1,000 meters deeper than the Grand Canyon.